Good evening, Facebook friends and fitness followers. It's Matt here with True the Fat with Matt, episode 25. And I come to you after a beautiful Wednesday in Sydney town. Kylie Risk, how are you? Good to see you on board. Thank you for tuning in nice and early. Tonight I want to talk to you about footwear. I want to talk to you about your feet. I want to talk to you about your performance and how what you wear on your feet and how often you have shoes on is going to impact how you feel. For me, the footwear debate is one that's ever changing. The technology that comes with the footwear that we have to choose these days is significant. The types of activities that we choose to do is constantly varying, and as a result, I've over the years changed my view on what the ideal shoe is, and I can pretty confidently say now that the shoe must be suitable for the activity that you're doing. For a long time, and this is a personal story for me, for a long time, Lisa, good evening, welcome to Chew the Fat with Matt. For quite a long time, I wore the same type of shoe. I used to wear an Asics running shoe for many, many years. And I was always pretty happy in my Asics running shoes. Chantel, welcome aboard, thank you for tuning in. For me, the Asics running shoe was something that I felt very good in. It felt comfortable. It always felt great to put a new pair on. And for many years, I ran my sessions in those shoes. I did all my training in those shoes. And over the years, I started to develop some issues with my knees. And I can't be 100% sure that it has been as a result of wearing incorrect shoes, but there's a possibility. And what I've found out since changing my footwear to suit the activity that I'm doing, along with some physio work from a fantastic physio who I strongly recommend. If you're looking for a great physio, Ariane, that's you. I've got my legs, my lower body, my knees and my hips in the best condition that they've ever been in. The change that I made was I would wear a running shoe all day. So obviously my business involves moving around, but I'm not running around all the time. But I chose to wear a running shoe all the time. And it wasn't until I converted to a flatter shoe that my issues became less. And as a result of that change, it made me start to think a lot more about the type of shoes that we're putting onto our feet need to match the activity that we're doing. And that goes even further now. So I'm actually doing some coaching with an Olympic weightlifting coach now. We've had a few sessions together and thoroughly enjoying the experience and the opportunity to learn a new skill. And one of the things that has been brought to my attention is to do the lifting at the best level, and I'm not talking about competing in Olympic lifting, I'm just talking about getting really good at it, but is to wear the appropriate footwear. And I guess that's the first message that I want to give to you is think about what is the activity that you're choosing to do in your shoes and ensure that the type of footwear that you're wearing is set up for that type of activity. So for me, I don't do much running. My program doesn't involve much running. So I choose not to wear a running shoe. However, if I was to run, I would put my running shoes on, if that makes sense. Out of interest, I wear a Mizuno running shoe. I've changed from Asics to Mizuno. Not a significant difference, but for me, I just started to feel more comfortable in that shoe. I'd be really interested, if anybody's watching, for you to share with me, what shoes do you wear? Like, what is your shoe brand that you wear, and is it set up for the activity that you're doing? So if you're running, are you wearing a running shoe? If you're doing strength training in the gym, are you wearing a strength training appropriate shoe? Share in the comments below, what is the shoe that you're wearing? The other thing that I'm really, really mindful of, and my wife will vouch for this completely without any doubt, is the updating of shoes. So for me, it's not a fashion thing. I really don't mind what the shoe looks like, but I do mind that the shoe is still able to deliver what it's meant to deliver. Daniel Marino, thanks for joining, buddy. I do take a lot of consideration in how long have I had my shoes for, how much actual work have I done in those shoes, and are they still delivering what they need to deliver with regards to support for the activity that I'm choosing to do in them. Now for me, if I'm doing a large amount of training, and that's most weeks I would do probably 4 to 5, possibly 6 sessions a week, I think to myself, those shoes aren't designed to last for years and years. And I know that there's people, not many people in my training community have shoes for too long, because it's something that I'm quite mindful to bring to their attention, that you need to wear shoes that are giving you the support that they can give you. Once you get past a certain point, your feet sort of form into that shoe and they no longer give you the support. It's not until you put a new shoe on that you realize, wow, that's what it should feel like. So for me, 6 months, if you're wearing a shoe any more than 3 times a week to do some training in, I would be suggesting strongly to you that you update them about every 6 months. Maybe more frequently if your usability is higher, maybe a little bit less if you're not wearing them as often. But just be aware of the fact that shoes do not have an infinite expiry. There's a time that comes that shoe needs to be replaced. Chantel wears Asics and Nike, pretty good choices, Chantel, and I think you'd be aware of updating your shoes pretty regularly. Hopefully you are. Maybe this might prompt you to get some new shoes. So the first point is find the shoe that's appropriate to you and the activity that you're going to do. There's some good outlets these days that allow you to test your feet and ensure that the type of shoe that you're wearing is appropriate for your foot. And obviously all our feet are a little bit different. The second thing is make sure that you're updating them regularly enough to allow you to get the benefit from that shoe, but not then continue to work in that shoe when it's not providing that benefit anymore. The next thing I think it's important to connect with, I've spoken about this on one of my good health hack tips, and it's the concept of becoming grounded, and that means not wearing shoes. I'm not talking necessarily about when you're training, but I'm talking about general health of your feet. And the concept of having our shoes confined in those spaces having our feet confined in those shoes over long periods of time does have its downsides. And one of the things that I try to do on a daily basis, and thoroughly enjoy doing it with my daughter, my oldest daughter, is run around on the grass without shoes on. The earthing or the grounding effect of that is very, very important, and it's something that we do not get enough of in today's society. So I've just finished a corporate session in a space that's got concrete floor. I've got shoes on. We drive our cars home. We are constantly not earthing ourselves, and there's so many benefits to that actual simple process of taking your feet off, taking your shoes off, and walking on the earth, not concrete but grass or turf. There's so many benefits to it. I think that if you can just apply that principle a little bit more into your life, there are, and I can't think of the word at the moment, but there's an earthing and there's a connection with the earth that we need. And if you can get that connection as simply as by walking on the grass, I like to lie on the grass with my daughter and play games, and that for me is a real earthing experience. Like, it's getting back to basics, it's hitting the ground, and it's just enjoying that time on our earth. It's something that we don't do enough of, and the health benefits are really important. Sam, what have you said there? It does feel great walking in, I'm assuming you're going to say bare feet. I think it's something that we should do more often. So my 3 takeaways for you tonight are: find shoes that are appropriate for the activity that you're going to do. So if you're a golfer, you get yourself golf shoes. If you're a runner, you get yourself running shoes. If you're doing what we call cross training or metabolic conditioning that involves a little bit of everything, that's a really tough one for me to recommend a specific shoe to wear, but I feel that a running shoe is probably not the ideal shoe in that situation. I think a more of a cross-training style shoe, something that may be a little bit flatter, that might allow you to do such a broad range of movements. If you're doing a lot of strength training, I would strongly suggest a flatter soled shoe, one that doesn't have too many support arches, one that is flatter and just allows your feet to sit naturally how they want to form. If you're just looking for a walking shoe, then have what's called a walking shoe. I think it's important to get that information, say what is the activity I'm going to do, and you might need to get a few pairs of shoes. My wife will vouch for that. Yes, I've got a few pairs of shoes, and when I bring a new pair into the house, I'm often told you have to get rid of one pair, and that's hard for me to do. I feel like a strong connection with my shoes, and I feel like I've done so much in them, I don't like to let go of them. And you know how you've got to have those yard shoes? You've got to have that pair of shoes that you might need to use in the yard one day. I've got a few of them. So the 3 takeaways: find the shoe that's appropriate for you. 2, ensure that you're replacing that shoe on a regular basis so that you're not working out in poor quality shoes that no longer give you support. And 3, get earthed, get grounded more frequently by taking shoes off and walking around on our beautiful country. I hope that's helped you. If you think it has helped you, then give me a thumbs up or give me a love heart. If you think someone you know needs to hear this and needs to get some sort of advice on their shoes, then tag them in the comments below, and hopefully that helps them as well. And thanks a huge amount for tuning in. It's been great to touch base with you again. Ray Dyer, thumbs up. You're a good man. Appreciate that. So look forward to touching base with you again same time next week. Chew the Fat with Matt, episode 26. Stay tuned. We've got some big things happening with Great Outdoors Personal Training. We've got an 8-week challenge kicking off. We'll be launching that during September for an October kickoff. And it's you know, spring is just around the corner. It's time to ramp up your activity level. So look forward to sharing what we're doing with you guys, and keeping close to what you're doing as well. Have a great night. Chew the Fat with Matt, signing off.